Okay, this is an interesting demo. I'm going to show you how to create an ORS. Now remember that in our environment, in our training environment, we have been using various ORSs throughout our labs. Primarily the one that we have been working on is the TRN lab. But we have others that we have. The goal now is to create an ORS. Now I'm going to be very specific for our educational training environment, but I'm also going to discuss it from a very general level. So that's the goal, how to create an ORS. Remember that an ORS is where we have put all of our work in. So every demo, every lab, every project that you work on, your work is being stored in one or more ORSs. Let me quickly go to the hub. I have already logged in. Notice that I'm logged in as training and the TRN. And when you click here in another demo, I mention what each ORS is doing. And we've been working with a TRN lab. That's where we have done all of our work. If I quickly go to the schema viewer, notice that here is what I've been working on and demoing. Now I can click on databases, and also in another demo I showed you what the Enterprise Manager allows me to have and databases. And notice under databases I see a listing of all the databases. Now I'm going to go to Enterprise Manager, and notice that the Enterprise Manager again has the databases. The TRN lab is the one that I'm working with. So you can get quite a bit of information of the existing databases. Now this TRN lab has all my work. So when you create a brand new ORS, make sure that you do not give it the same name of an existing ORS unless you really do want to replace everything. For example, in my ORS, I already have quite a bit. So if I only wanted to modify things in my ORS, I could simply go ahead and delete a based object, a landing table. Perhaps I can go ahead and delete various packages. But if you really want to get rid of everything, then you execute the SQL procedure, which will create a new one. In general, I'm going to show you the general. So remember this, okay, that the goal is to work on this ORS. Now, in general, if you look at the documentation, we give you, let me just show you that. When you install the product, and there's a document that describes this, under the installation directory, in our case, Infa MDM, Hub, Server, Resources, Database, Oracle, this is where back at work, or when you install the product, this is where MDM has put the scripts. The one we want is the setup_ors.sql. You're welcome to review this back at work, but please don't modify anything in your demos or labs in the course environment. This is the one that really is what we want to run. Now, this depends on a dump file, .dmp, that we have given you, and so you need both of those files in order to make it work. Now, let's see if I can quickly show you that. There should be a .dmp file. There they go. Okay, so notice we have the various dump files. That is the system. That is not what we're going to execute. Why? Because a course writer has prepared the ORS with various sources, various predefined elements in it. And so what we're going to do, according to the exercise that the course writer has us do, is that we're actually going to go to a directory, and the course writer wants us to go to the C drive MDM training folder, MDM 33091 configuration MDM MDE setup Oracle, and notice that here we have the various scripts that we were talking about. So let me just do a wildcard search on it, and there it is, setup_ors.sql, and the respective dump files. Now what I'm going to do is execute this, but because I'm going to regenerate trn_lab, it's going to erase everything I have. So it might be advisable, as I have done, to first of all go to Metadata Manager and export your work. In case there's mistakes, or in case you really made a mistake and you do not want to overwrite it, perhaps you select it, go to export before you do anything else, and go ahead and export your work, and this will generate an XML file. I have already done this, and notice that it says here on-demand TRN lab JL complete. So I would encourage you to back it up. And just for example, I'll make it another one. I'll just put a 2 at the end here. So you can see that I made another backup. Now, why? Because I'm always nervous. I know what the script is going to do, is going to overwrite this one. So be very careful. This is if you get stuck in the labs and before you get frustrated, maybe you can just regenerate and start again. In a separate demo, I'm going to show you how to catch up on the labs. So if you fall behind, there's a way to catch up, assuming that you have a new ORS. So right now the goal is to regenerate this because my intent is to have a brand new one and then apply what I just exported. I'll import it. So with that in mind, let me exit. There's a couple things you got to have before you execute the script is exit the hub and also make sure that the JBoss app server is not up. So make sure the hub is out and then cancel the JBoss, but leave Oracle running. Assuming all that's done, then we quickly go and just follow the instructions. We want to go in and go to SQL Plus. You've got to be in the directory that we mentioned, this one that I'm in. And I'm gonna, let's see, make sure I don't make a typo, as sysdba. Logging into SQL Plus as system admin, as DBA. And at that moment, merely I'm going to execute that script that I showed you. And this is customized to our course environment. And this is why I'm running it here versus where the product is officially installed. So here's a typo. So it's at setup.ors.sql. And this might be lengthy. Now it's going to ask you for a bunch of parameters. And so we just got to be careful how we enter this. Enter the name of the user. In this case, I want to enter TRN lab, which is the one that I want to recreate. Remember, it's going to drop the schema. In other words, the user is going to be dropped. So I'm going to lose everything. This is why I made a backup first. I exported it. So TRN lab. Now it's going to ask me for a system password for the ORS, uppercase CMX. Remember that? Exclamation, exclamation, uppercase CMX, exclamation, exclamation. That is the system default password for an ORS when you install the product, so I'll just keep that. And that's what the course writer wants me to follow also. And then enter the name of the MRM table index. I'm going to just select the default, the temp, and the temp. Now, these can be changed. You can go to mysupport.informatica.com and there's a technical note if you really want to change these default table spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter, and notice the first thing you're going to see is it's going to say that it is dropping the TRN underscore lab user. And it's going to go ahead and do its job. And when we come back, it'll ask me for a few more words. So right now at the moment, I'm just going to wait here, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. It takes about 30-40 seconds. And then it comes back, and then I'm going to enter a few more prompts. And so it is back here. It just finished dropping the user. And now it's asking me to enter the Oracle Server TNS. And in our case, in our lab environment, it is Infa ORCL. It's system DBA user. I'll just default to system. Now the password of DBA is lowercase admin, and it's invisible to you. And then this is the important part, which is the dump file. So you got to be very careful that you do have access to the dump file. And this is part of the system. And in this case, it's part of the course creator's work for us. And I got to be very careful to type this in, trn underscore lab.dump, which is the one that's provided for us. And then it says from the user, trn lab. So remember, at this point, I don't have anything there. My user trn lab is gone. Now, enter GCS install path. I'm just going to enter the default. And it's going to go ahead and do its work. It's recreated trn underscore lab, and now it's going to import all this. If I don't have any errors, if things work according to plan, what I then need to do is probably go to Oracle and double check to make sure that my new ORS is there. And unfortunately, all my work is gone because I replaced it. So be very careful. This is only intended to be if during your labs you have a major problem and you say, hey, I'm frustrated, I want to start from scratch. So we will ask you to create a new ORS, and then we can gradually tell you how to bring in the lab 1, lab 2, lab 3 via change list, which is a separate demo in which I will show you how to apply incremental change lists or import the whole solution. Remember that before I executed this, I actually went to the hub and went into the metadata manager and exported it. So let's see how it goes when this finishes, and then I will go into Oracle and take it step by step as I built this. So here we're just going to wait until this is done. Well, it seems that it finished now, and so let's go and check and see if Oracle has my new schema user created. Unfortunately, if it all worked, unfortunately, it deleted what I had there. But remember, that's the intent. We wanted to regenerate the TRN lab. So I've just gone into Oracle and I look at the TRN lab, and remember, I already had a data model. I already had matching. It was really a complete example. Look, all my based objects are gone and everything is gone. So it's back to its initial state. There goes the source system. So it's back as if I had never done a demo or anything. So I'm going to exit Oracle. And at this moment, it seems like it works. Now, the only thing I got to do is, bring up the JBoss so that I can go into the hub and check things out. So I'm going to show you a little trick that I have here to bring up just the hub. Remember, the way we have brought up the services has been through the stoplight menu, but this time I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to go to the C drive here, the command mode, and this is another way to bring up the JBoss, which I prefer sometimes when I'm doing this, and I'll just go to change directory to C:, wherever JBoss is installed, and I didn't want to type it in. There it is. There goes JBoss. I'm going to go to its bin directory, and then here I'm just going to run. There's a batch file called run.bat. I'm going to run that -B000, and again, this is all documented in the reference book, and it's going to bring up JBoss as we did before. So what I'm going to do is just wait till JBoss comes back up, and then what I want to do is go into the MDM hub and see if in fact I have a brand new ORS and all my work is gone. So as you know, it's going to take a while to come back up. So what I'll do is just stop here and just wait till the hub is up, and we'll wait. Well, it looks like the JBoss is finally up. Let me go to the hub. I'm going to do as always, go to the browser, and under Informatica, go to MDM hub. And I gave it enough time for the hub for JBoss to start up. And I'm going to log in as we've always have done. I've been using training, and MDM lowercase is the password, and the ORS is TRN lab. And let me go to the schema and see what happens. I'm going to get a write lock, and oops, everything is gone. Remember, this is where I had customer address, etc. It is completely gone. Therefore, the procedure worked. I have a new TRN_lab ORS. The bad news is I deleted everything that was there before. But remember, I warned you that that is the way the course writer has given us a script. In general, the setup_ORS.SQL script is supposed to ask you for any ORS and create it, because the other dump file is for that. We used a customized one. Now, before I end this demo, let me just go to the, remember there's nothing here now. But remember that I had backed it up earlier before I deleted it right at the start of the demo. So if I were to go to Metadata Manager and select it, and notice I could go ahead and import it, validate, etc., export. So this is another demo. How do we bring in change lists that had been exported in? And I'll leave that for another demo. At the moment, we're done, and now we can start from scratch or import what we had exported or what the course writer gave us in terms of change lists. So another demo that follows this, if you're going to take this in sequence, is how to incorporate or import change lists. Thank you.